Hello there, and welcome to Dead Reflections Podcast, episode 8. How are we doing, fellas?
Pretty good.
My name's Kolby.
Caleb.
And my name's Josh, a.k.a. Drifter Voyages. How you guys doing?
So, yeah.
This voice.
I don't know what that was.
Oh,
I was like,
this is Elvira.
oh, fucking
Welcome,
Elvira's
everyone. Welcome, Elvira.
Elvira.
If you weren't here during the live stream on Monday, we introduced her to Josh. And
She crosses her legs because she's proper.
Properly.
She's a proper lady. Yeah,
and Josh nearly shit himself.
I think I did a little.
He did cry. There were a couple tears.
My underwear were stained. It was a shameful moment in my life.
I'm glad I got you that good.
Dude, you really did. Please go listen to last episode and listen to Caleb's story. This man should write a fucking book. Jesus. Like, real talk, he had me completely fooled. I completely believed every word, and I still think that I'm haunted by some crazy doll thing. And why are you staring off in the distance right now?
I've been waiting for Colby to switch to my camera this whole time.
But
I don't want to now.
yeah, I don't want to do it now.
So what did we pull last episode?
So a couple episodes ago, we pulled Creamer Creek Banshee, and the doll episode, we pulled Poltergeist.
Yeah, I'm doing a Poltergeist story.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And Monday I explained my my Poltergeist story that I had,
Which is interesting. Your whole outlook on that is.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
want to recap on that a little bit?
Yeah, so typically people think of Poltergeist as like a ghost that throws shit across the room and just like manipulates objects and has like a lot of physical touch. But I mean, this is another take that I really like of Poltergeist, and that's a Poltergeist isn't an actual entity, or it's a person that is controlled by an entity, or the person is the entity themselves.
Yeah.
and what I mean in that is that people who are controlled by these entities, they have normal lives until their weakness is basically showed, which can be stress,
like depression,
just anger.
Yeah,
a lot of times it's relatively just anger, because I mean most people attribute poltergeist already to angry spirits.
Yeah,
and so or aggressive spirits, and so.
That makes sense that your energy is causing the poltergeist itself.
Yeah, and then and it's the same type of like weird paranormal shit, like stuff falling off the shelves.
Yeah.
People being touched and pushed and whatnot.
Oh,
and
man.
so
would you just to kind of like I had one question. Would you say that them being like that makes them kind of a beacon for an actual entity to come into their lives?
Possibly. I mean,
so is that like, instead of it being that their energy is projecting and causing the things to happen, it's more
I
of it.
Personally don't have any like personal experiences with a poltergeist human, but from what I watched on I believe it was Ghost Encounters, the person itself didn't really trigger or target anything, or like it was just attached to that person.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I mean, possible. Anything's really possible. All it takes is one story to be true. So.
Well, I wish that I could say that my story is going to like elaborate on that, but it's not. But hey, that's a cool
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's an interesting take on it.
Like I said, most people see poltergeist as like the thing you see on Phasmophobia, and it's throwing shit around.
Well, we all know Phasmophobia is law, so it's whatever. But what kind of stories you got?
I got my Creamer Creek Banshee story, and we kind of briefly, I think, touched on it, but
Yeah.
we just gave it the Creamer Creek Banshee name randomly. It wasn't a...
So it's not a banshee.
It's not a proper Banshee, no. It's just us trying to put a name to some creepy thing that's probably on the road.
It rolls off the tongue nicely.
I know. I've heard stories of banshees in other parts of Texas, like where I'm from, Brenham. There was a story about a banshee. I don't remember the story. That's why I'm not saying it.
It doesn't have quite a ring as Creamer Creek Cryptid.
Yeah.
Creamer Creek Banshee and Creamer Creek Cryptid. Sea cells, she
Both?
cells by the seashore. Anyway, those both roll off the tongue pretty well. Like
I will
like
say
that.
the nearest thing I would attribute mine to is like a skinwalker type thing.
Ooh, I like that.
So
I like that. There's other. I mean, banshee. Like I always picture a banshee just being something that screams at people. So, like I'm a banshee. Like if you think about it on the weekends, but it's whatever.
But yeah, my story is about a person who technically died, but didn't actually die. And yeah, it's hard to wrap your head around a little bit, but it's one of those stories. It's called "How Do You Prove You're Alive?"
All right,
We're gonna start with the big brain one first.
Starting with
Yeah.
the big brain.
Tragic. Okay.
All right. Well, first we gotta light the ceremonial candle.
And why don't you tell everyone what you're wearing, Caleb?
I'm wearing Beartooth shirt, black with purple lettering and their new font for the newest album. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that album's super fun. I love it.
I'm wearing a band that's near and dear to my heart, Ghost Inside.
Don't you have a Ghost Inside tattoo?
Yes, I do. I need to
Yeah,
That's
he's got
okay.
the.
excuse
see it.
my urine here.
It's on your forearm, right?
Excuse me?
Excuse me? You're really getting into the spirit drinking his
Oh,
own
man.
piss.
How am I gonna
That
do
man
this?
drinking piss!
You can kind of see it.
Yeah, he's got the Ghost Inside. It's like their symbol, right?
Do
Like,
they have a name
Yeah.
for that? Just a logo.
It's the Ghost Inside logo.
it's not like the band Hymn where it's like the heartogram or whatever. That's what it kind of reminds me of.
Yeah, I mean, there probably is some meaning to it.
Yeah.
Just, I mean,
Totally. And I've got band wise, I have the Release the Captive cap. That is one of my new favorite hats. It's green. It's got gold lettering and it's good. I don't know. I was trying to think of all G words.
Speaking of Release the Captive, we're playing a show with them in May.
Yay!
in
May
Austin.
shows, May showers. Anyway,
Be sure to follow the band page for info on that.
for show. And I'm also wearing DeathWish Coffee, which those guys are pretty fucking cool. I actually posted a little like boomerang of us about to do the podcast, and they messaged me, and they were like, "Oh, that's sweet," like
Do they
I don't
like the podcast?
I don't know. I need to ask them, but yeah, definitely check out DeathWish Coffee. The org that I'm a part of, Spectre Esports. We're actually sponsored by them, so if you need a discount, use code Spectre at checkout.
Get your coffee and caffeine needs.
And DeathWish is delicious. It's probably some of them, like real talk, even aside from promotional things, DeathWish Coffee is probably some of the most delicious coffee I've ever drank.
Nice.
But yeah. So are you ready?
Ready for some
hit
for
me with
the
some
merch is done.
Hit me with the brain teaser story.
Yeah, I want my brain to be tickled.
It's not. I mean, it's it's pretty straightforward, but like
This man had
the
to print it
story,
out.
the story itself is just really hard to grasp
Okay.
because I mean it involves something that nobody knows about, and that's death.
Yeah, that's
And so-
true. Nobody knows the answer.
Now is time for how do you prove you're alive? So the video cut out mid-story. So we're gonna rewind and I'm gonna start again.
All right.
So my story is called "How Do You Prove You're Alive?" I've been dead now for almost 5 weeks. It feels different than you might think. Of course, I'm not really dead. If I were, I wouldn't be able to write this account of what happened to me. But legally, at least, I've been declared dead. once you're dead.
What is the audio thing? Why does it?
They did it again. It went.
Is it you? Is it because the lighter's close to the mixing board? Is that what that is?
That makes no sense.
I don't know. I'm trying to find an explanation. All right, Ghost.
Also, the door locked on us too. So that's a thing. That's the second time now that it's happened.
Oh man, why whenever we're like alone and like there's no like
They're
proof?
camera shy. I'm telling you.
Oh my god, we weren't recording any of it too.
Of the door locking.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, they're camera shy.
They're camera shy.
All right.
No thanks. All right.
I've been dead now for almost 5 weeks. It feels different than you might think. Of course, I'm not really dead. If I were, I wouldn't be able to write this account of what happened to me. But legally, at least, I have been declared dead. Once you're dead, it's surprisingly difficult to prove you're alive. The event that caused my death took place 3 months ago. I was due to catch the late flight from Williamson County Airport to St. Louis. Since leaving the Army, I've worked as an insurance claims investigator, and so my work takes me all over the U.S. I take upwards of 250 flights per year, so I end up in my fair share of tiny regional airports. Williamson is small, but not the smallest I've been through. I got to the airport at 6 o'clock and plenty of time for the 9:45 flight. I grabbed a sandwich at the restaurant, made some calls, and caught up on some admins. The airport was quiet, but there were enough people around to make what happened seem all the stranger. An announcement was made that my flight was delayed, a technical problem to blame. No stranger to delays, I just pulled out my Kindle and started on my latest book. I must have drifted off. Excuse me, sir. What? I was startled into alertness. A very heavily made-up flight attendant stood over me, her overpowering perfume sweet, sticky, and cloying. I'm sorry to trouble you, sir, but we're about to board the St. Louis flight. Great, thanks. I looked around. Everyone else must have been already on the plane. The airport was deserted. Lights off and shutters down. A ghost town. My watch told me it was 11:53, a lot later than I expected. When I boarded the flight, it was empty. Completely empty. I've been on plenty of flights with just one or two other passengers before, but never a whole plane to myself. Ever officious, the flight attendant showed me to my seat despite the obvious fact that I could sit anywhere, and it wouldn't matter. I hurriedly stowed my jacket and laptop case in the overhead compartment. She went through the farce of her safety demo whilst I had my head down reading my book. Takeoff was smooth, but as we reached a certain altitude, I felt the familiar buildup of pressure in my ear and swallowed. Everyone knows the sensation of their ears popping. This was at once the same and yet completely different.
Sir, you need to fasten your seatbelt.
The words were clear, but the voice was insubstantial. A whisper. I turned around in the direction of the voice, expecting to see the flight attendant behind me. She wasn't there. I leaned into the aisle, and I could see her at the front of the plane. It was only 6 rows back, so I guess I could have heard her voice from here. I was just so sure it came from behind me. I passed it off as some trick of the acoustics, my own heartbeat seeming to echo around the empty plane. But when I looked up, the seatbelt sign wasn't on. I shrugged and went back to my book. Cruising was uneventful. The background hum of the air conditioning combined with my own tiredness and the subtle cabin lighting gave a sleepy, dreamlike quality to the flight. As we began to descend, my ears popped again.
Excuse me, miss, what's happening?
This shit is so creepy, dude.
A man's voice this time, again clear but an ethereal whisper. The situation was beginning to feel very weird. I could see that there was no one else on the plane. It's nothing to worry about, sir. Excuse me. Cut. And
out, sir. If you can just stay calm and keep your seatbelt on. It's just some turbulence.
The plane had indeed begun to shake a little as the plane began its descent through the clouds. The voices gained substance. Others joined in. They were noisy now and nervous.
If everyone can please remain calm and seated.
The flight attendant spoke loudly, trying to talk over the rising cacophony of panicked questions. The whispers turned to screams and weeping pleas. Behind me, I could hear a furious prayer, begging a merciless, unhearing God not to let his faithful servant die so young. A life of promise, unfulfilled. A mother wept as she tried to calm her crying baby, her soothing words unable to mask the terror in her voice. The pitch and intensity rose as the plane descended, the noise a maelstrom of completing sounds.
Fuck.
The wheels touched down and the voices quieted. I was hyperventilating, fingers digging painfully into the armrest. My brow was slick with sweat. I hurried off the plane through the deserted airport, eventually slumping into my bed in my nameless, faceless hotel room. Lying there in the still and quiet darkness, I rationalized it away. A panic attack, some one-off hit of anxiety about a landing I made dozens of times each month. I managed to convince myself, and I succumbed to the fatigue and slept. In my dreams, I could hear moans of pain and anguish, then silence. The morning brought a sense of normality. I got in the elevator down to breakfast.
What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Did you hear
My
that?
phone's in my lap.
Yeah, so was mine.
That was a phone buzz, wasn't it?
No, it was like.
Yeah, it was like,
I heard
Yo.
the static stuff, but then I heard like a phone buzzing.
oh, that might have been my phone.
Guys, we are having some weird technical issues that have never been a problem. My phone didn't go off.
No,
Yours
mine didn't.
Did yours? Did you get anything? What the fuck, man?
I'm gonna ignore it.
That's the smart thing to do.
Oh boy.
The morning brought a sense of normality. I got in the elevator down to breakfast. It's so cold. I whipped around the faint whisper,
I hate that voice.
already knowing no one was in the elevator with me. As I drove to my next appointment, I heard the news about the crash on the radio in my rental car. A Cape Air flight, the morning plane from Williamson County to St. Louis. There were no survivors from the 27 passengers on board. The ghostly voice sounded like it came from the seat behind me, not the radio. I checked the rearview mirror, nothing, but I wanted to be sure. I almost veered off the road, straining over my shoulder to look around the rear of the car. It was when I got back to St. Louis Airport that night that I realized I had lost my passport. I didn't need it for the internal flight, as my driving license would suffice, but it was a pain to have lost it. When I got home the next day, I called the St. Louis hotel. They were sorry, but no passport had been found by housekeeping. I had showed it to board the Williamson flight, so the only other possibility was that I left it on the plane.
Hello?
The phone connected. Hello, I think I may have left my passport on board a flight I took 2 days ago.
You should have been here with us.
What?
So cold.
I'm just transferring you to our lost property department, sir, the man repeated. Hello, Cape Air Lost Property. How can I help you today? Hello, my name is Captain Lionel Sinclair. I think I may have lost my passport on one of your flights 2 days ago. Okay, sir, which flight was that? The 945 from Williamson to St. Louis. Flight number 9 Kilo 1114.
Come and join us.
Pardon? I'm just checking our database now, sir. There was a long pause. I could hear the keyboard tapping. Sir, could you please confirm the date of your flight again, please? Wednesday, 21st March, 9:45 flight, Williamson to St. Louis, flight number 9 Kilo 1114, I repeated. I'm sorry, sir. Could you please hold?
So cold here. You were so warm.
Hello, is this Mr. Sinclair? A new voice asked. Captain Sinclair, I corrected impatiently. I'm so sorry, Captain Sinclair. Can I please just check the details of the flight you think you lost your passport on? Of course, I said, barely trying to hide my frustration while I repeated the details. Captain Sinclair, I'm afraid that flight was canceled on March 21st due to a technical fault with the plane. It's not possible you were on that flight. Could it have been another day?
You should have been with us.
I'm not mistaken. I took that flight. I'm looking at my boarding card stub right now. I have a receipt from the restaurant in the Williamson airport and a receipt from the hotel I stayed in St. Louis that same night. That wouldn't be possible unless I took that flight. Unsettled and on edge from the last few days, I was losing my temper with this woman. Sir, the evening flight was canceled, and the plane that was due to make that flight was involved in a crash the next morning. You may have heard about it on the news. You couldn't have been on that flight. The call ended after more confusion and flared tempers. The police called to my home that same day. They came expecting to explain to my wife that, unfortunately, I was registered as a passenger on the flight, that the burnt remains of my passport were found at the crash, and that the only unidentified remains from the 27 passengers on board were likely to be mine. Imagine their surprise when they saw I was at home, safe and sound.
They know you should be here with us.
The whispering voice told me while the officer spoke to my wife and I. Thus, confusion about my status as living or dead began. Dental records of the unidentified victim were a match to mine. While I still have my driver's license, the picture is an old one, and in the police's view, proved nothing. Security camera footage from the airport is no help. I can be clearly seen entering the airport. However, when the announcement about the flight cancellation happens, there's no clear footage of me leaving the airport. I have made various trips to the local police station and was asked to send my ticket stub to Cape Air for verification. They are baffled. The stub is real enough, but they insist the flight never took off. 7 weeks into the mess, a DNA test was authorized. My DNA was on the file due to a program I was in during my time in the Army. I was hoping matters would be cleared up quickly. Unfortunately, it was a catastrophic outcome. Both my own and the unidentified body's DNA are a match to my DNA on military record. My own DNA, a 95% match, and the cadaver's a 99% match. Because of this DNA evidence, on Tuesday, 15th May 2018, I was declared legally dead, and the police immediately opened an investigation into my true identity. The living me, that is. Since being declared dead, the voices have become clearer, more frequent, and their tone has changed.
The living no longer want you. You are free to join us now. We will come for you soon. We want your warmth. It's so cold.
I laugh a lot. Laugh to keep me from crying, keep me sane. The world thinks I'm dead, and there are voices in my head. My wife has started to look at me strangely. I can see the doubt behind her eyes. It's gone beyond voices now. I see glimpses and shadows and reflections in mirrors, terrible things, burnt and broken and shivering with cold. Several things trouble me beyond my own sanity. Who is the mysterious charred corpse that has a better genetic claim to my identity than I do? What do I need to prove I am alive and who I say I am? The things that trouble me most, though, is my status as one of the dead. If someone who is legally dead is killed, no crime can be committed or even investigated.
Oh, shit.
The voices keep telling me they intend to come and claim me soon.
Bro. Dude. Okay, so I have to say that the planned out, like, sound bits, like, you fucking nailed that shit. That's
Thanks.
crazy.
I worked hard on those.
You made all of those?
Like,
That is fucking nuts.
like, majority of them are me whispering. I had Caleb whispering a couple.
I did one.
Yeah, you
Yeah, I
did
did.
too.
Dude, either way,
I think you
like,
did too.
either way,
Yeah.
that
I
was...
know you did this one.
Excuse me, miss, what's happening?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's me.
I could totally hear that's you now that it's like without all the music
Yeah.
and stuff. But dude, that was sick. That's a
little bit
good ass
to
story.
unpack on that one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm actually happy that something happened, and like made it to where we had to listen to it again. Like not all of it, but you know most
got
of
the
it.
details.
Yeah, because I was able to concentrate more on what you were saying instead of just being lost in the moment. And that's a fucking crazy story. And real talk, he has a very valid point.
Right.
Like,
Like he's no longer like he can basically do what he wants
Yeah.
because he's no longer like
And someone could just
a part of
like
society.
ex-nay him from fucking existence, and they wouldn't get in trouble because technically he's
Yeah.
dead. And the fact that the body that they found has more of a DNA.
that's my favorite part of the story.
That's fucking nuts. Like,
Yeah.
what does that even mean?
So to me, I think it's like parallel universe type of deal.
But it was
like
a parallel
Lost.
universe where they both of the planes crashed in each universe. But
no. So his plane landed.
that's right, because he has the memory
he
of it.
heard all of the
Somewhere
sounds
in the
from
air.
the crash.
Yeah. And dude, you know what's another thing that kind of struck me as weird, and I don't know if
Struck
this is
you?
yeah, struck me. And I don't know if this is normal, but him being on a flight pretty much all by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Is
that's
that a
very
thing?
weird. I've never had that happen.
Like, cause isn't it like
I mean,
they got to
that-
sell
that-
enough
that
tickets to
usually-
pay for the gas, right?
That
Like,
usually only happens on private flights.
oh, and,
you know?
and that was a
So-
private flight.
No.
Who
it
is
wasn't.
who's our main character? Do we learn what his job was?
he was
So
a captain, right?
So yeah, he was.
Yeah, I heard
he-
captain, but is he a
He
pilot?
was.
pilot?
He
the way-
worked. He worked for a government agency.
Okay,
'Cause
so
the-
this is what I was thinking. If it's a government agency, then it's a government cover-up. He did
Yeah.
something that he knows something they don't want them
Possibly,
to know.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where my brain was going.
It kind of reminds me of the TV show that's out right now about the airplane that went through a wormhole, and
I'm
then
not
they so the airplane went through a wormhole, and then they come back out of it like 5 years later.
Oh wait, my bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, and like and that's what it is. Like a lot of government like is like no,
Mm-hmm.
like
So he doesn't work for government.
Okay.
He was in the army,
Uh-huh.
but he's not anymore. He works for insurance.
So, okay, still army.
yeah,
Maybe
that's why he
knew
said the
something.
kilo, like he was
Yeah,
saying K. Yeah, okay.
Because
I get it.
he's used to military talk.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The original story is in military time, and I had
And
to
that
switch
also
it
makes
to-
sense why he was so adamant. He's like, I'm a captain. Like, you need to fucking reference
Yeah.
me, like, by
Yeah.
what I am. Because he worked hard for that, you know?
Yeah.
Also, by the way, big thank you to anybody who is in the military
Yeah.
that's listening to us. Mad respect on that. Dude, that was a good-ass story.
That was a good one.
Dude, and I just think it's crazy how all this shit has gone down. It's like this episode is not meant to fucking be.
Yeah.
Like,
Do we want to recap on
yeah,
what
so
happened?
the door was locked. That
Well,
didn't
okay,
happen.
To start off,
Yeah.
Kolby was telling the intro of his story, and then Josh was like pointing at the TV. We have a monitor here.
Yeah.
And he was like, and I was like, "What? I thought you were seeing something like
Yeah.
move or whatever." But on the corner of our TV, there's a little thing that says start recording, stop recording.
Yeah.
And if we were recording, it would say stop, but
Yeah.
it did not. So that means we were not recording.
Yeah.
And it's highlighted black.
Yeah.
So
And we got the
plus
like,
there's a little
and-
red dot at the bottom.
Yeah, we
That's
got
true,
the
yeah.
intro and everything, but then as soon as he started his story, it cut out, and
And
we don't
as
know
soon
if
as
that was
we-
a button push or if that was like on us or if that was something
And
else.
as soon as we realized, we're like, okay, do you want to take a break? And
Yeah.
let's chill out for a little bit. And then I get up to go to the door, and y'all are talking. Y'all are still at the table. And then I try to turn the doorknob, and it's locked. And I say, hey, guys, what do you lock the door?
yeah,
And normally that wouldn't be weird, but this is the second time that's happened.
second time. Yep.
Yeah,
Second
both
time. It didn't
same-
happen to me the first time. I wasn't here, but this time I was here.
Yeah.
And then the audio stuff.
So audio is
Yeah.
a whole nother thing. A little buzzing and crackling and stuff. I don't know what that is.
It's happened 3 times, but we did
it-
get
No,
it.
it's been happening a lot.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
been happening like off and on. Not towards the tail end of this story, but the.
So I will say the skeptic in me.
Oh yeah, there's so many things. It could be a
Well,
cable. It could be a.
The skeptic in me. I will say my phone was here,
Yeah.
and I put it in my pocket, and it hasn't done
Okay.
it since. So
That's it. That's what it was. That's what it was right there. And the other weird thing was you heard something behind the curtain.
yeah. So yeah,
We brushed
were-
that one off real quick.
yeah, we were like, no, that's not real.
So as soon as we realized that we weren't recording, we were like, all right, let's take a break and restart.
And the door was locked.
And the door was locked, and Josh had like grabbed the mouse to do something on the computer, and he put it down on the table right in front of me, and Caleb's at the door, so there's the other 2 people in this room are on this side, and I hear I hear something, just a little tiny noise come from there, and because I have my headphones on, I hypersense
yeah.
hearing.
Then you were like, what was that? And we're like, what?
A lot of spook. A lot
Yeah,
of spook
a lot
going
of
on.
lot of little things
What'd
going
you
on.
say? You were like, don't leave me in here by myself.
Yeah, we were both ready to bounce.
So all of this happened once Elvira's on the table too.
This is true. Elvira is now
Fuck.
out and on the table.
I'm trying not to think about her. God damn it. Don't bring. Okay, your legs are still crossed.
Let's get
For a second, I thought
get
they
a
weren't,
nice
and I was
little
like,
look
did
at
you fucking
Elvira
move
there.
her or what?
Nice
Fucking,
little look at
that. Oh, by the way, speaking of dolls, all right, just for my own sanity's sake, Robert, I apologize if you didn't want me to use your story last episode. Thank you if you were cool with it or not. But yeah, I just had to get that out there because we listened to our buddies, or I listened to our buddies in Dark Hour podcast, and they just did a doll episode, and they fucking made sure to ask permission and say thank you, and I didn't. And hearing our friends like make sure to say so brought it all to the forefront into reality, and I was like, oh fuck, like I gotta make sure that I do this.
On that note, Robert, you a bitch. Fuck you.
Dang. You want to state your name?
All right, hey
My,
Robert.
my name's Kolby.
Robert, we are not
Last name.
affiliated. You know,
Make sure you know
like-
who you are.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Don't. I mean, y'all,
No, no,
you
no,
can
no,
do
no, no,
you
no,
can
no,
do
no, no.
you can do whatever you want to them, but I'm saying fuck you. You a bitch. Mad disrespect.
I'm totally gonna delete that and not put it in there. Like that
It
scares
doesn't,
me.
it doesn't have to be through media. It's just that he said it in the
Oh,
existence. and
yeah.
His
oh,
brain knows
shit.
who he's talking to.
Robert
so.
knows.
So yeah, Robert knows.
He knows.
That's not very cool.
Elvira
Oh,
told him.
Go listen to episode what 7? Because we're on episode 8. Don't move.
Yeah,
her.
audio listeners, we're talking about a nice little rag doll that Caleb and I introduced to Josh in the last episode.
Yeah, there was a whole story behind it. Please go listen to it. It's insane.
And yeah,
and you
and-
can hear me literally freaking like shit my pants.
Better yet, go to YouTube so you can see what this
Oh,
doll
yeah.
looks like.
See the
It's-
fear in his eyes.
Jesus
Oh
and
my
Christ.
god, dude! I was so fucking scared. I almost cried like twice because I was like, "This can't be happening right
That
now."
was a good one, I will say. All right, are we ready for a Creamer Creek
Yes,
Banshee
let's
tale?
go for it. I am very interested because I drive on this road all the time,
You do drive on this road. all
and
the
I
time.
have to go home on this road. so-
Crazy thing, I live on this road. I gotta like deal with it.
All right.
Okay, so the Creamer Creek Banshee. This encounter happened while I was going to college on campus in Schulenburg. I had a friend that lived on the opposite side of LaGrange, and he didn't drive. Every now and then, that friend, Dalton, needed a ride, and I had no problem with offering. Got to hang out with him for a bit, and he'd give me a little bit of gas money after. Most of our trips were normal, listening to music, talking about the few classes we had together, and whatever else might come up along the way. However, there were a few times we saw something. Someone. The first time I remember seeing this person was in the middle of the week. Since our junior college didn't have classes on Fridays, this had to have been on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Regardless of the day, we were driving down Highway 77. Since this is out in the country, we don't see too many homeless people or anyone on the side of the road for that matter. Lost my spot. We did, however, see a man this day. It's hard to tell from the road, but I'd say he's about Dalton's height, something like 6 foot. Dressed in tattered clothes, blue jeans with stains and holes, a dingy white undershirt, and a light blue and gray unbuttoned flannel. He had semi-long hair, but it was thinning. This was an older man, after all. He was on the other side of the road, facing away from us, not walking. Both Dalton and I saw him. Nothing paranormal about the guy on the road. He didn't look in the best shape, so who knows? Maybe he was in a rough spot, and luck wasn't on his side. After about 25 minutes or so, I dropped my friend off, then made my way home, thinking of nothing of the man that we saw. The next day was humid. One of those days where it was hot, raining, off and on throughout the day. The air was thick and sticky, and the stress of giving a speech for a grade was on my mind. At the end of the school day, Dalton needed a ride again, so after our classes, we threw our bags in the back seat of my car and made our way to his house. With the rain coming down pretty hard, we were driving slower than the posted 70, mindful of the pockets of water and the uneven road, and the other drivers that seem to forget how to drive when it starts raining. Only a little farther down the road than the first time, the same older man. On the side of the road, once again on the opposite side, but this time facing us. It was pouring though, and he wasn't moving. Same clothes, but now he's drenched and his hair is soaked. No expression, just standing there. Only a few miles or so from where he was standing yesterday. We both acknowledged him and kind of thought, poor guy, feeling sympathetic for him, but once again we moved on, dropped Dalton off, and I made my way home. The weekend went by, and again I didn't really think about this man at all. We live in a fairly small town, and we know most everybody here, but every now and then we get drifters. People find a place to stay, try to make some money, and move on to the next town or city. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Classes picked back up, and Dalton wouldn't need a ride for another few days. None of those days did I see the man again. You can call it overthinking or coincidence or whatever, but I did notice that when I was with my friend, we saw this guy. When I was driving alone, I did not. So with that in the back of my mind, Dalton asking for a ride home made me extra alert while on the drive to his house, keeping an eye out for this mysterious man. We made it to my friend's house. He handed me a $10 bill and thanked me for the ride. Parted ways, and all I could think was, nothing happened. No weird occurrences, no bad feelings, no man. I drove home thinking about how silly it was to think that any of this was connected, or how this guy, down on his luck, was probably just trying to survive, get some food in his belly and money in his pocket and move on. I pushed my blinker down, left, onto Creamer Creek. I only drive a couple feet before my heart sinks. There he is, on my road, standing there. The same clothes, not walking, just standing there, looking straight across to the other side of the road. He's just a homeless guy making his way through town. He hasn't done anything to show that he's unstable or crazy or anything like that. It's just weird is all. Nothing more to it. Why was he on my road? There's nothing here for anyone like that. No stores or office buildings or construction sites. There's nothing. What is he doing on my road? I got home and spent the next few hours peeking out the window, or listening for my dogs to start barking at someone. They do it to people who bike down the road all the time. I just kept waiting to see this guy walk by my house, or worst case, a maniac standing outside my window. I doubt that would happen unnoticed, though. My dogs would have a barking frenzy if someone came, walked down our driveway, all the way down to the house. Nothing happened. He didn't walk by, dogs were quiet, and the night winded down. And that was that. Next morning was a Friday. I know this because I don't have class on Friday, but I did have to make a trip to campus, because this book that was coming in, a book that I'd been waiting for, finally came in. The school had given me a call to let me know it was available for pickup. Right before I got in the car, I put an Amazon order in for a new planner. I was really trying to get my school situation back on track. I drove down my road, came to one of the small bridges that ran over a creek, and as I passed the railing in the ditch, a person. I could only see the lower half of them as I drove by ever so slowly. Jeans with holes, some kind of a white dirty shirt. What?
He's dead?
Is this guy getting closer to my house? Is he dead? Is he napping? What's going on? I didn't care to turn around and get out and check on him. I just went to my campus. I got my books, turned around to come right back home. As I got back on my street, I started to think of what I should do if this guy is still laying there. I had 911 pulled up on my phone, ready to call if I needed to. Turned the dial on my radio all the way down to 0, slowly made my way back to wherever this person was laying. About an hour ago. No one. You need me to fix that real quick?
Yeah.
I heard it. Giving me creeps now that I'm thinking about it. Alright. No one. I sigh a little bit of relief and just try to stop thinking about it when I see him for the last time. About a quarter of a mile away from my house, the same man, standing there, gazing into the distance. I get home, lock the doors, again continuously check the window, listening for barking, absolutely nothing. Fast forward a few days now. It's Monday. I drop Dalton off, no sign of this man on the road to Dalton's house or on the road to mine. He was finally gone and I could feel a weight being lifted, like I was no longer needing to worry about this guy. The night went on, it got fairly late, something like 10 p.m., when I remembered that order that I put in on Amazon. And it was here, delivered to mailbox, my phone said. My new planner was here. I put on my slides and I make my way outside to the mailbox. Dogs were tired, they stayed at the house instead of getting excited and making the walk with me. I get to the mailbox. Slight bend in the metal and rust make it creak as the door flap opens, and I grab my new planner in its Amazon package. Turn around to face my house when I hear an older man, sounds like he was trying to get my attention, say, "Hey."
Oh, shit.
And I ran home.
No fucking way that happened. Bro, I would have come unglued. I don't know if I would have turned around and hit him. I don't know if I would have just ran like you did. I don't know. I don't know if I would have just broke down crying. But like, that really happened? Dude.
So,
No, I can tell you're like uncomfortable.
yeah, it's
like,
a creepy story.
Fuck.
So I told Josh before, or while we were sitting outside, that there's a little bit of dramatization in this.
Yeah.
So for the story to sound better, in my mind, I grabbed the thing, I turn around, and then his voice is emitting from where I was just looking. That didn't happen. I heard something down the road. I thought I heard someone down the road go, "Hey."
And you were like, nope.
Yeah,
And then you were fucking
this
out.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah.
That's oh Jesus.
He might as well have been right fucking next. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
That's
matter.
Still,
So in my mind, I picked what I thought was creepier in the moment.
Yeah.
But regardless, I don't know much about skinwalkers, but I believe that is one of the things is where like they try to emulate voices to try to get attention.
yeah. Like I've heard and read stories of them doing projection where they make their voice sound like it's over here, but they're really behind you or like somewhere else. Like they're not coming. They're not.
The thing
where
that
voice
bothers me most about this dude is I didn't see him move. Like,
Yeah,
I can remember that never moving, never walking.
So you saw this man laying down in the fucking ditch.
So like
Yes. Dude,
he,
that
like-
that bothered me so much because I was like, okay, is there like construction site nearby? Maybe he's working to a worker taking a break or something
Yeah,
like
just
that.
laying down in the
so
ditch.
if he
yeah.
took a form of a skinwalker, he like that was even more proof that he couldn't actually like move because he like
Yeah, he
took
couldn't.
took
Yeah.
the form of something and like
Just
stood there.
was stuck. Yeah.
He was just trying to like
So and
blend
then
in.
there was one. There's a little bit of a tweaking. So what actually happened on the last time that I saw him, when I said I didn't see him in the ditch,
Yeah.
but I saw him further down the road, is he was sitting this time on the last time, but I didn't like the change in story. But he was sitting crisscrossed in the shade of a tree. Yeah.
That's still creepy as
and
shit.
it was like right, like I can't explain to you how close this was.
Dude, no one. So when we were outside earlier, you thought you heard like a male voice
I
laughing.
thought I heard a dude laughing,
and you were like,
I was like,
"Whoa,
yeah,
yeah."
yeah, I got freaked out. Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah, so-
I don't blame you because we're out in the middle of fucking nowhere. There's no reason for somebody to just every couple of days be just there.
Yeah, and I thought about I mentioned this too. I thought about calling Dalton to see if he remembered this dude, but he only saw the 2 instances of him on the road. The first time that we saw him, and then in the rain, which that was a whole nother thing.
Yeah, like, you're just chilling in the rain. Like, what are you doing, bro?
It was the weirdest thing. So again, it's tweaked for dramatic effect, but
Yeah.
from where we saw him, we were on 77. We were past Hosteen,
Yeah.
and where he was not on the road. He was up on a hill. Yeah, this is. But he was okay. So he was on the other side of somebody's property line.
Is it by that church?
Was he by the cemetery?
No.
Okay.
No, 77 before you turn on this way. You're thinking
Yeah.
of 609.
Oh, okay.
So like if you were to take
Oh,
77
so
all the way,
you're still on
he-
77.
still on the main
But
road.
he was just up on a hill somewhere.
He was on a hill. I remember it because he was on a hill next to a like a post, like a telephone pole, and just like standing arms to the side, looking straight across to the other side of the road. And it was like a fleeting glance. Like I was like, "Do you see that dude? Is that the same dude?" And he was like, "No way." And I don't know much about Skinwalker things, but I want to say like it was weird the movement. Why did it take him a day to only make it that far?
Yeah.
Or why did it?
Like,
I don't know.
you know, you keep bringing up
Why
like
did he stick around
you keep bringing up like
in the
construction.
same like people don't understand like
It's hard to write.
There's nothing around here.
Exactly.
Like,
It's
the
specifically
houses, that's
my
it.
road. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just houses, and they're
Like,
all like far back away
like
from the road.
even
Like, there's no bar like
No.
out
Well,
here.
even-
There's
even-
a church. That's it.
That's far away too. That's
Yeah.
like
like even the construction
decent
thing, it
amount away.
doesn't make sense because he would be like he gradually moved towards you.
So this
like
is the
the
thing,
construction
too.
doesn't move. Like
I didn't know how to write it out, but so the order of that we saw him first on the road close to Schulenburg, close to Swiss Alp. The second time was past Hosting, past my house.
Mm-hmm.
I can't put a guesstimate on where. I'd have to drive and like just keep an eye on the left side of the road and like see where a hill is and a post.
Yeah.
Past Hosting, so that was the second encounter. The third time he would have had to gone back to Hosting, over and onto my road.
No.
Yeah, if this is somebody walking.
Yeah.
Because the only other option is to go further down. We have a small cutoff. You go there,
Yeah.
and you go all the way down. It's
So
It
it's
doesn't
like-
make
much
sense.
travel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The only normalcy that could come out of this is that it's a dude that lives around here and he's just fucking chilling.
I've never
But
seen
That's
this
the
dude again.
only normal thing.
And again-
but that even then that's weird.
And
If
then
he
the
lived around
same
here, why is he
clothes, too.
sleeping in the fucking ditch?
Yeah, that might have been the worst one. Because I remember.
Oh,
so,
I don't know what I would have thought, like
so
seeing that.
I immediately went. There's no construction, but I was like, oh, it's probably a worker.
Yeah, you're writing it off like you always do.
I was like, it's probably a dude that's like taking his lunch break or something. I don't know. And maybe some dude had like a.
Fucking standing still by a telephone
But,
pole.
so like it's if you go to the right this way, there's 2 bridges. One is a deeper bridge because
Yeah.
the river is there, and the other one's more shallow. It's in between those two, and it just slopes off into like a probably 5-foot little ditch. And yeah, I could only see the lower half of this person. It looked like the same clothes. Yeah.
What if that was his skin body and he shed it and he was out running
man.
around? You know, yeah.
Fuck.
And that's where he ditches it is over there.
It's possible. I have no idea.
And maybe it got washed up
So, like,
to where
the-
you could see it.
The
'cause
weirdest,
of the rain and
the
stuff.
weirdest like skinwalker like video that I've seen is this dude outside of a barn of his or like his family or something, and like there's just in the middle of a cornfield, and there's just a barn and like a little bit of like surrounding area where you can walk around, and it's like very dilapidated. Like
Yeah.
they don't use the barn for anything. And he hears like, "Hey, I'm in here."
Oh, fuck you.
Like 2 or 3 times. Says it the same exact way. "Hey, I'm
like
in here."
same tone,
Yeah.
same volume. Like that's
Yeah.
a recording. Fuck that. Fuck that.
Yeah, that dude. I don't think I'll ever forget the tone. Like I can't do it myself, but it was very much so like he was like trying to like a concerning hey, like he was
Yeah.
Yeah.
like worried
Hey.
about something. Yeah, like he was in trouble almost.
Yeah, and that's what makes you want to be like, what's wrong? Like, and like, let me
But
help you.
I
and
will.
then-
I took the thing out of the mailbox. It wasn't a planner. I wrote that for the story. I don't know why I chose to go with the mailbox this late. It was very late for no reason. It's pitch black, and I was like, I'm gonna go get the mail. And
and he didn't want to put that, like, I just
Yeah.
randomly wanted to go get the mail at like 10 o'clock at night.
I probably did order something, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I walked it and got whatever it was from the mail, and I had made it like right past the threshold of the gate when I heard it off to my. I know it was on my left, that side of the road where he was at.
Your
And
mailbox is fucked too because it's across the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta
And
travel.
it was immediate like fight or flight, and I just ran. Like
Dude,
I
I
heard it,
don't-
and I was like, gone. No.
I don't fucking
Yeah.
blame you, dude.
Fucking slides came off.
I know with your road, I like I told you all this before, it's like even before we started doing, the band stuff and everything, the first time I was on this road, it felt fucking weird. And that was on the opposite side.
Yeah.
That like actual like driving down it from
Yeah.
I don't know what road that comes off of, but
Fresh off.
Yeah.
Fresh off Country Club
and
area.
it just has this
a vibe to it.
a vibe. I feel this is weird because I've never been there, but like, did you ever like hear stories about like haunted houses and stuff, and you can like almost picture the feeling that you would feel if you were in that area? Like Amityville, the Amityville house, like you would
Okay.
be like,
Oh, yeah.
okay, I would walk in there and it would feel heavy
feel
or
weight, yeah.
or whatever.
I can
That's
understand
that's the vibe that I get every time I drive down that road.
That's creepy.
I literally I turn and get on it and I take a deep breath and I'm like, all right, and then I just keep going. And I always think it's like, I know there's a lot of deer or something, and I'm just
Yeah.
being extra
Donkeys.
hyper aware, but it's like
Fucking donkeys. Out
I
of
was
nowhere.
hyper aware about it before I even knew that the deer were a fucking problem on this road. I knew that there was always something that I need to look out for, I
Yeah.
guess.
That was another little detail I wrote in there, is that the dogs didn't want to go with me to the mailbox. I was very brief, and I didn't know if y'all caught it.
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah, they stayed at the house. Like they didn't walk up to the
Oh,
mailbox.
see,
That's
dogs
weird.
that
That's
like
really weird.
pet
Yeah.
animals, they can sense that shit, dude.
Yeah.
They can sense.
But I didn't
that
think
shit.
it. I was like, maybe they're like, tired. I don't know.
This
Yeah.
was when how long ago was this?
I was in college, so Alvin was here.
Okay.
I don't know if
Yeah,
Roscoe
Alvin
was.
would have for sure followed you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was a little bit of a puppy at the time
But
too.
still,
so like even more so, he'd be like right next to me. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just
That's
didn't.
crazy.
He's glued to your fucking hip constantly.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's nuts.
Yeah, no. So my encounter on this road, it could have been just something as simple as an owl, because we have seen an owl around here.
Mm-hmm.
But I was basically, so there's a huge hill right before Caleb's property, and I had just gotten to the top of that hill heading towards back to town, and and there also is trees overhanging on the road
Like
that
that.
kind of form. But I know the spot
Yeah.
where it happened. No trees. there's like trees overhanging on top of the top of the hill, and then there's a break, and then there's like one tree
Yeah.
Yeah, a little
down
later
further.
down,
And
yeah.
it was in between there with no trees. And I'm just driving, and I'm like probably like changing the song on my phone or something, and I see just the biggest white object out of my top right like corner of my eye just zoom over my truck.
Oh, it flew towards you.
Yeah, it just and like behind and went
shit.
behind me. And like normally I would, if it was like a tree or a post or a sign, because there's a go slow sign
Yeah.
over there, but I would have seen it pass through my passenger door.
Uh-huh.
I just saw this thing go over my truck.
So is this that way?
Yeah. up
Yeah,
the big
yeah,
hill.
going
Okay.
towards town.
And it's right when you leave his driveway and you go.
So you get up the hill and right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have another one where I'm
Mine-
coming down the hill.
Mine was okay. Where the hill, like where it opens up. Okay, so I would left your driveway. I have an owl situation too.
Mine is
But
too.
mine flew right in front of my car and flew like it was like going with my speed.
Yeah.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah, and it was right there. Like it was literally like right where the clearing.
It probably
was.
lives in
Mine,
one of those.
yeah,
like,
mine was as soon as I
trees.
breached the top of the, like I was coming down towards my house, and he like matched my speed with the like.
Dude,
Cause
you
I
know,
could see him through the
apparently
windshield.
There
that's
are a lot of barns up there.
there's a
too,
lot of
so
lore
it could be-
behind that.
Yeah.
Actually,
I don't want to know it.
Well, it's good
don't
lore.
wanna
Like they
know
say
it.
that they're guardians. Like it's like a guardian
okay.
angel kind of thing. Like
It's very weird.
yeah, there is also they do it with owls and hawks.
We got a lot of hawks.
Yeah, because they're both animals that, dive and hunt on the ground, or whatever. And they always say that, it's like a thing, like if it flies and then it doesn't, go on the ground, like that means that it was a spirit, like trying to, just be in your presence. It's kind of like the cardinal thing, too.
Yeah.
You ever heard of the cardinals?
Yeah, I know that. I'm familiar with that one.
The loved ones.
What about
whatever.
vultures?
Vultures just represent death.
Yeah. We do have a lot of vultures on this road.
We do have a lot of vultures just everywhere.
I need to tell my my
crow story.
No, my vulture story. My God, what is it called? I can't think of the name right now.
That app.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fuck.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know.
Basically, you think of an intention and it gives you a coordinate.
Yeah.
And you go to that coordinate and
what is it called? I can't think of it.
Well, it'll come to us.
Yeah,
later.
It'll come to
Here,
us.
I got a question for y'all real quick.
What's
Do y'all ever get in the car and you're like, I need to be really careful? Like I feel like something's wrong. Like
yeah, I do.
I get that
like
a lot.
that sometimes. Like that's always one of those situations where I instantly check my back seat.
Oh, it's not even that. I'm scared I'm gonna get in an accident today. Like I need to be extra careful of like my surroundings and stuff like that.
Definitely was not feeling it that day.
Talking about Lubbock.
Oh, that.
Did you tell him about that?
Excuse me?
Did you tell him about that? About your mom's?
Huh? Oh no, I didn't.
Oh yeah, check this shit out.
check this shit out. No, so like how you have when your mom like has like a dream or something, she'll call you and then you had that kind of thing, vice versa the other day. I've never had that with my parents. And as soon as we go to Lubbock, my mom, she didn't directly tell me. I had to find out from my sister.
Okay, but still.
But still, she told my sister to pray for me because she felt like something was gonna happen.
Oh,
and
man.
so he tells me this on the way to the new hotel.
Oh,
right. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to be completely fucking honest with you then. My fucking gut was screaming at me the entire time we were at that other. That's why I was so adamant. I was like, I'll fucking pay for it. I don't care. No, I thought it was like my dad instinct. But, dude, like I told you, the guy's fucking going in between our cars and looking in the windows. And then you came out there and you were like, hey, they parked up behind us and were fucking giving us a weird eye. And then the whole thing with the other dudes that were off in the corner, how they were kind of talking back and forth, talking shit to each other. Like, something bad was going to happen, and we got the fuck out of there. And his mom, like that, when he told me that, I literally got full body chills.
Of course, the safer hotel is the fucking
haunted
one.
Yeah, we left it was a fucking drugged-in hotel.
It was a
motel, and then went to a haunted one, and we felt more safe in the haunted hotel than we did in the fucking motel. But yeah, dude, like it was like
I didn't know y'all had those feelings about
dude,
that.
That's crazy. I didn't want to sound like I was just being ridiculous, but then when he said that, I was like, all right, I'm gonna fucking come. Yeah, and I was like, this is.
It was crazy because we were talking about like just like shit happening to us on the drive there.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Yeah, we had a lot of like conversations where I was like, can we not? Because like we're fucking in the middle. Oh, on the way home, we were we drove for like 2 hours with no phone service, and he literally looks at me and, like 30 minutes in, he's like, hey, wouldn't that be some shit if something like we got like a fucking broke down, and I'm like, you motherfucker. I kept checking. Like, did you see me? Every 5 minutes, I would look at my phone, and then service. All right, call Ashley. Hey, we're like over here. Like, and then it would cut out, and then like, yeah, it was.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. But.
So y'all drove, just y'all two. I drove with Kyle and Summer.
Yeah.
And that they do have. Summer has a story about Kramer Creek.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, tell us
real quick, and she would be able to tell it better than I could. But from what I remember, what we talked about is that she was driving on that same side towards the house. And saw something white run from, I want to say left to right, all the way through the gates, like through
didn't
the
hop it,
through
like
the,
straight.
Yeah,
just
she said it was. She said it was a human, like humanoid figure.
Yeah, like she could make out, like a humanoid figure, exactly.
Oh, she could make out the.
It was something running,
and it was like a white mist.
Yeah, and it didn't jump over the fence like a deer would or something.
Through that bitch.
Ran through it.
That reminds me, like I have a this is interconnecting stories, like Terraform always says. But you remember my story about the where the fucking ditch and the white.
Yes, hitting the wall. Yeah,
it's like basically they hit where the end of their thing was, and they would just, and then it just come back again, because I don't think it was hundreds of fucking ghosts. I think it was like
Like
4
it
or
was
5
respawning.
just
Yeah.
keep
Respawning.
respawning and running back, and but like
Yeah, it's very weird. I don't know, man.
that's fucking crazy. So they ran. She distinctly remembers them running through
Yeah.
the fence.
Yeah, she said through the fence.
Oh, that's fucked.
Yeah, very, very creepy.
See, I'm glad that I finally got to hear that story, because I remember y'all first mentioned that at the Bailey's ghost story.
Oh,
Y'all
yeah.
talked about it, because remember we talked about how it went over, and then y'all were
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like, dude, that's creepy. And the fact that it's white, and you talk about that guy and he had a white shirt on.
My initial thought when
Bruh.
Kyle told us that story was that I was like, was it over by the graveyard over here?
Yeah,
And she said that it was in a different area,
it was
but
in this straightaway.
like this straightaway, like
This
right
straightaway.
by
So
your house.
right
the one
by
where I
your
saw the
house.
dude
Yeah.
sitting. Yeah,
Bro,
Yeah.
I'm telling
But
you.
like I was gonna say, we need to visit there's 2 graveyards next, like
oh yeah, there's
within
one on
the
my road,
within
and
the
there's one
like 2
adjacent.
miles.
So we need to take the REM pod and the fucking EMF.
The one that's
reader.
actually on my road, I think, is family owned. I want to say.
Oh, okay.
I
wanna
think
say.
I think
But-
you can still visit it.
I mean, the one at the church is not.
No, I've
And
wandered
it's-
that one before.
Yeah.
Oh, you
it's
have?
Yeah, I've wandered that
terrifying
one.
because
Is
it's on
it?
top of a hill.
Yeah.
You can
Ooh,
see
I'm down
from
to
miles.
go. Let's go.
I had no vibes about that one.
I've had
Oh, really?
vibes there.
Oh really?
Yeah. I mean, I get vibes anytime I go into a fucking graveyard.
There's
Even though the one in town.
really.
there's
Yeah.
just an energy.
I'll
about
cut through that one sometimes if I need to get to a place quicker.
Yo, I had a story about graveyards, like that I found that I want.
Oh, I thought you meant
Oh, we
like
could probably do a
personal
whole
one.
thing on
Yeah.
graveyard
Yeah.
shit. All right, y'all ready to get to my
Yes, let's
story?
get to your story.
Terrifying.
Okay, so what was the other thing that we
We're
pulled
jumping
from?
back into Poltergeist.
Yeah,
Right?
Poltergeist. That's right. Yeah, Kolby kind of gave his little like synopsis on that, and
Kind
like
of.
like it was like kind of like his own take on it that he heard from Ghost Adventures.
That was not this episode though.
I just
Oh,
think
no,
it.
no, he just did it.
I did a whole story.
Oh, wait, did you do a whole story?
Yeah, he did a whole story, and the thing that you're talking about right
From
now is a
last
completely
episode,
different
yeah.
Oh,
episode.
okay,
Yeah.
Where he
jeez.
talked
I don't
about the
even. What
lady.
is today? I don't even know what day it is.
Yes.
But I,
Yes.
I will say I think my reasoning for poltergeist makes more sense in the
Yeah.
like literal term
Yeah.
of poltergeist because it's like I think it's like German for angry something. I'll look it up. You go ahead.
Okay, so I didn't want to do it on Poltergeist. I wanted to do it on Poltergeist.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it was the movie.
Ah,
I don't know if you guys have heard the stories about the movie.
I have not.
Okay, so essentially they think that it's cursed.
The movie itself.
The movie is cursed. Not cursed to the watcher, but cursed for all the people that were in it.
Oh, like did things happen on set and stuff like
Dude, a lot of shit happened. And that's what I'm going to go over is all of the different things that have
that?
happened.
Are you gonna cover like location of filming and stuff like that?
Not necessarily, no.
Do you know if it was filmed like on a known haunted ground or something?
No, but I think I know why it's haunted, and you're going to find out, and you're going to
Okay.
laugh. Everyone's going to be like, what the fuck was this dude thinking? Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
All right.
All right,
have an
you ready,
idea.
Kolby? So this is the story of the Poltergeist curse. The set of the Poltergeist is considered one of the most notoriously bizarre Hollywood film productions of all time. It is also considered to have been cursed primarily because of what happened to so many of the stars after the movie hit theaters. And if I'm being honest, there are plenty of real-life scares to justify the film's status as a little more than fictional horror. Here are some of the most bizarre things that happened to the Poltergeist film family. We're going to start right off the bat with deaths. We're going to start strong. Perhaps the most talked about aspect of the Poltergeist movie legend is that so many of its cast members, including 2 of the child stars of the films, died unexpectedly after the film was released. And we're going to go over the children's deaths. The first that happened was Dominique Dune, who portrayed Donna in the original film. She was strangled to death by her ex-boyfriend in the driveway of her home in 1982. She passed away 5 days later at the age of 22. it was rumored that her friend, who was present during the argument that this happened, was listening to the Poltergeist soundtrack at the time to block out the noise of their quarreling. From what I understand, they quarreled a lot. So it was one of those things like, they're fighting, I don't want to fucking listen to this. And
But
it
the
ended up-
Poltergeist soundtrack?
Yeah, right? That's just, well, you know, it just can't,
Yeah, and
it
they're maybe
makes sense.
hype about it. Yeah, like my friends on the movie. Okay. I can justify that.
Then in 1988, child star Heather O'Rourke died at the age of 12 from cardiac arrest after experiencing septic shock from a congenital bowel obstruction.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
She had just completed filming on the third installment of the Poltergeist franchise a few months before her unexpected death, but the film had yet to be released at the time of her passing.
God, could you imagine going
know.
out like that? That
No.
must fucking suck.
So it's not just the first movie.
No, it's all
It's
of them,
the series. Oh, God. Man.
including the remake.
Really?
Yes.
That's so
Although
interesting.
other cast members would later die from other natural causes, the deaths of the film's two young actresses caused many to think that their involvement with the movie had something to do with their sad and untimely deaths. Creepy, right? Here is some other stuff that's happened. Accidents that almost cost one of the kids' lives. He's actually one of the main characters. Before Dune and O'Rourke's deaths, there was another strange incident which nearly claimed the life of one of the Freeling children off screen. Actor Olive Robbins, who portrayed the middle Freeling child, Robbie, was strangled by the very animatronic clown that famously tormented his character in the film. If it weren't for producer Steven Spielberg saving him, he probably would have died that day.
That is wild.
As Robbins recalled, the way they shot the sequence, they didn't really have the special effects the way they do today. So the clown doll had this extended arm, and they had me act backwards in a tight confined space under the bed. It was then that the doll's arm began to essentially tighten around his neck, choking him. The contraption caught around my neck. Steven saw that, probably in the video assist deck, and he pulled me away from it. Who knows what might have happened otherwise. It was very fast. Maybe I wouldn't be here today.
Steven Spielberg, a hero.
Sorry.
What do you got against Steven?
You'll find out.
Okay.
Actor from the original movie was in a plane crash. This shit blows my mind. As if the cast of fatalities and near-death experiences weren't already a lot, actor Richard Lawson was in a plane crash in 1992 that claimed the lives of 27 of the 51 passengers on board, including the person who was in his original seat on the flight.
Yo, pause. There were 27 passengers on my story.
27 of the 51 died.
Yeah, but
But you still said
Oh,
27.
still.
Oh, dude, that's
Close
weird.
enough. Look, we're making connections here, all right?
But check this out. Lawson said he was gifted first-class seats after giving a fan his autograph, and the seat switch ended up saving his life. The man has to feel some fucking guilt. The person who was in his seat died. Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
That's crazy, dude. The story alone might seem like a mere coincidence, but with the amount of cast eerie experiences, many think this is yet another event caused by the Poltergeist curse. So, here's the next one. Honestly, old Steven might have taken being authentic a little too far. There is a scene when the Freeling mom is thrown into a muddy pool and all these corpses start to float to the surface around her, scaring the shit out of her. If you have seen that part, you might have thought her reaction seemed super realistic, and there is a reason for that. Spielberg famously opted to use real human remains as props for that scene, which some might believe at least have been like a partial source for the reason why the film is cursed.
Yum.
Check this out. Actress Jo Beth Williams, who played Miss Freeling, even confirmed as much during her Reddit AMA, writing that she originally thought the skeletons were props and come to find out they were not.
That is insane.
It's kind of metal, if you ask me.
Right? There's a famous picture of her like coming up out of the mud, and like there's like a corpse like right there, and she's screaming, and that's a real fucking skeleton.
So I might do a little more research on that, just because I want to know if she knew
She did
the moment that she saw them is like these are real, or like was after the fact.
I've
that
read
told her.
I've
Yeah, I
read
doubt
that
it,
she
but-
didn't know, and then
Yeah.
they told her after the scene was done, and then I've read that she did know,
And
but
then-
they told her right when she was about to do it. And
And
so,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then on top of that,
They should have
did she
told her from the
know-
beginning.
Right.
Like, that would have gotten a better reaction.
Yeah.
Right.
On top of that, I wonder if she knew that there was going to be corpses in the scene with her, or if she just was going to be
oh,
Yeah.
if they just let
like,
him
hey, you're
up.
going to have a mud scene and you're going to be
Yeah.
splashing around,
Right.
and they didn't say like, hey, there's going to be corpses as well. Like, you know, it gives a more genuine reaction.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
Some of
She's like, prop corpses, right?
Yeah, right, right,
Steven's like,
Steven.
yeah.
Totally. What the fuck? Yeah, who
In the mud.
Apparently, you
In
can
the
buy
mud.
human remains especially for movies at a very cheap
Oh, yeah.
price.
I got
Didn't know
like a freezer full of them.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
that's crazy.
But that
Okay,
you
let's
got
move.
those for free. That's last Saturday.
The
right?
cost
Oh,
was
Continue.
Anyways, some of the actors experience hauntings in their own homes. Williams experienced a series of frights in her temporary home during production on the first version of the Poltergeist. One reoccurring incident was that a picture in her apartment wall kept shifting while she left to shoot the movie. Essentially, she would straighten it, leave, come home, and the picture would be turned one way or the other.
yeah.
James Caan, who was novelizing the movie, also experienced some weird happenings when a lightning bolt struck his building as he was finishing up the project, and in the front of his air conditioning unit blew across the room and struck him in the back. If that's not bananas enough,
Why is that funny to you?
if that's not bananas enough, after that the lights came back on and his video game started playing by itself. Yeah. Director Gil Kenan had the closest experience to a normal haunt, though. He wrote talking about the 2015... He was the one who did the 2015 remake. Okay. He wrote talking about the 2015 remake that the house he rented for production was the site of some minor inexplicable phenomena, like lights flickering on and off for no reason and other equipment only working in certain portions of the property. I used a lot of aerial drone photography in the film, and the drone pilots were never able to lock in the GPS signal in this field. We would have to move 10 feet away to launch the craft. His personal experience is even more creepy, though. He wrote, "The house that I rented during the film was straight up legit haunted by a female spirit dressed in black, and I became aware of her within the first few days of staying in the house. And only after I left did I receive a call from the previous owner who had moved back in, who was terrified by the goings-ons in the house, and wanted to see if I had experienced any of it as well. She definitely was there. It didn't follow me back to Los Angeles, but it followed me from set back to where I was sleeping during filming." So essentially, he thinks that whatever was dealing with on the set came with him back to that rent house.
Yeah.
And they didn't experience that before he was there. And then when he left, all of a sudden they had the light flickering and all of that weird shit. Yeah. Other weird things to note. Poltergeist 2 star Will Sampson, who was a real-life shaman and portrayed Taylor, the medicine man in the sequel, performed an actual exorcism on the set of the film to rid the site of alien spirits. He died a little over a year after the film's release from complications associated with heart and lung transplant. During the film of Poltergeist 3, actress Zelda Rubinstein was troubled by a photographic light blur that occurred during a photo session of the actress, leading her to believe that the pic was taken at the exact moment her mother passed away. Lastly, the production of Part 3 had an explosive accident. A garage that was to be used for filming caught fire after plastic fake ice poured onto prop cars, igniting into flames, and injured 3 crew members. The cause of the mishap was unexplained, since the crew on set were amply prepared to pull off the shot correctly when they began working that night. Do you believe the film are cursed?
Yes. Now that I've heard that.
And that's all
No
I
doubt in
got.
my mind.
Props to grunge.com/bizarre things happened. Bizarre things happened set Poltergeist. That's where I got all my info
I think I'm
from.
going to be watching the Poltergeist movie tonight before
Yeah.
I go to bed.
So I think the only thing I heard from that was the flight thing,
You think
where he
that's...
switched
checked out?
seats.
Yeah, that shit was crazy,
You
right?
checked out for the rest of it?
No.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh,
you
I'm
stopped
talking about
listening.
like.
The only thing I
Yeah, no,
heard
I didn't,
was the
I didn't
flight
listen to a
thing.
single fucking word after that. No.
I get what you mean.
Yeah. But yeah, no.
That's very creepy.
Yeah, dude, it's nuts. And that's not the only film. I think, was it Ju-on? It's the
It's pronounced Jumanji.
no Ju-on. It's the Ring.
Yeah. Oh,
Ju-on,
yeah.
the
That's
Japanese for the original
Yes,
version. Apparently, that set was super fucking haunted because they filmed it in a hotel, and it turns out that they ended up having to make. I don't know if it was exactly that film. I know it was a Japanese film. They ended up having to leave the hotel and make props of it because they had so much shit happening.
Too many things.
And they were like, we can't fucking film here. Like, if nothing is working properly. And so
insane.
they made the sets, and then the sets were haunted. Like, the chick almost dies on one of the sets, like, because, they just basically it was like a cutout of a part of the hotel
Yes, yeah.
that they would recreate. And she almost died on that, too. And then there's a movie that I used to have. It's called Death Tunnel. And it's about an actual insane asylum where they had a death tunnel. They basically had, I think it was like yellow fever or something. They had an outbreak, and they didn't want everyone to find out of all the patients that were dying. And so they had a tunnel built that was a death chute that literally a dude would take the bodies down and throw the bodies onto a fucking train, and the train would cart the bodies off so that they wouldn't get shut down.
Good business move.
Yeah.
Multiple people died there for other reasons. Like one lady, she was fucking around with the warden, and she got pregnant and killed herself. Jumped off the yeah. That happens a lot, by the way.
Didn't know that.
And stuff like that. And they filmed there, and they ended up like a lot of the ghost noises and stuff that they use in the film. Some of them they picked up while filming, like their EVPs or whatever.
Top tier.
Yeah,
Foley.
it's fucking
And, like,
it's
background
fucking
noise.
nuts. Yeah, like it's crazy. Like there's this girl that plays with the ball. Like if you get the movie, like on DVD, they have a special features where they
really?
show all of the shit that they caught. They show on-set photos where there's fucking full-fledged White Spectre standing there in a field, like all this crazy shit.
That's
and
wild.
yeah, and they filmed it at the actual location of the actual place, and it's pretty crazy. It's a straight B film, but it's actually really good. Like it's really good.
Have y'all seen The Wailing?
No, but I've heard of that.
So they made a bunch of props, like witchy props for like scenes of basically there's a big scene where an entire like house is turned into the place where the evil entity is doing the shit from. And apparently the shit that they created, they didn't find it and used it. They created it.
Yeah.
And they said that they had weird shit happen to the people who like disposed of that.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
And this is a like total Korean film.
Okay,
like, all
I thought
Korean
so.
cast,
I thought
cast
so.
and crew. And like they said that after filming, and they like took all the props and put them somewhere, some weird shit started happening.
I believe it. I mean, it's
Same
I
thing we're
mean-
doing here. We're inviting things in.
yeah, that's literally what it is. Like just
Trying to
because it's
portray a story.
just because it's a prop doesn't mean anything. Like it's
Yeah.
still it's
Or
still an
that
upside down
makes-
cross. It's still it's still a pentagram. It's
Yeah.
still this. It's still a Ouija board. You know, like
That
it
makes me think of one of the Conjurings where they find the Horcrux or whatever you want to call it, the
Yeah.
little thing that they made that they had to make it.
The most recent
Yeah.
one, right?
Was it the most recent?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, they had to make
they had to make it, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Like-
whether it's proper or not, it's you're emulating the shape.
yeah,
and stuff.
and that's like I think that it's the symbol that
Yeah,
means
it's the-
more
yeah.
than what
I'm
what
sure
it's
the
made out of.
material is like like
Yeah,
you gotta do this, and this to have it do a thing, but
Yeah.
you're trying to do it.
Yeah, and so you're welcoming it in
Yeah.
regardless. That's crazy though. I kind of want to watch that. Is it on like Netflix or anything?
The Wailing?
Yeah.
I believe it's on
Hulu?
Hulu. I could be
Okay,
wrong.
I got that Hulu. hookup.
But yeah.
My guy.
Actually, no. They probably took it off because it did get like a lot of flack for being so kind of gory, I guess.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Oh,
But
that's lame.
but you
do
could find
some
it. You could
research and
definitely
you'll find
find it
Yeah.
online. I've watched it on like the free website.
Oh yeah, the free movie websites.
Hey, we got
Shit.
him. He just admitted to it. Cops are on their way.
Yep.
You wouldn't.
I'm just
hire
kidding. I pay for Netflix. I'll do that.
Wee. Dude,
this
this
is
is
a good
good.
set of stories.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my thing. It was kind of like I wanted to do something.
it was a welcomed palate cleanser for me
Yeah.
after reliving that whole thing.
Yeah,
about my
I bet
creepy
you,
dude.
dude. And then your shit fucking overproduced my guy. It was great.
Thanks.
It was good.
Too
dude,
bad the
for real.
ghost had to fuck it up.
Yeah, and then the weird audio sounds. We're gonna have to go back and check that out. That's interesting. I honestly, I'm sorry,
It
but
was the same-
technology is not the same as it is, and our phones would not make the fucking shit to do that.
It was the same sound that my phone made when I went into that tiny room in the
It
basement.
is the same sound.
Dude.
But that's also whenever you think of
That's
audio
that's just
incorrect
audio.
like noise. Yeah, it's always gonna
It's
be
an audio connection.
I'm telling you, dude, it's fucking ghost.
Well, no, but like the actual sound is just like connection of audio isn't there.
It's just
Wait,
it's the same.
hold on.
sound.
Is the poster fucking propped up onto the ceiling?
Yes, I
Okay,
did.
I was about to say that shit is standing straight up on its own.
Yeah, no,
That freaked me out for a second.
Oh,
Oh man.
all right. So we changed up Stephen Alexander a little bit. We're not
Yeah.
going to be drawing 2 anymore. We'll be doing 1,
We'll
and
be
it'll be
doing
a
1.
story for next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we
So
want to add stuff now,
since I guess I did, well, we both did. So Kolby, you draw, yeah,
you got to draw.
and that's where we're gonna start it. We're starting it from the middle, so whatever rotation, left or right, whichever one
Okay.
you guys want to do.
That's the worst. Like,
Yeah, right.
way to do it.
We
you,
should-
you could go either way.
but
yeah.
while he's opening that up,
I
please go.
choose him. next
Please
time.
go check out our buddies in Terraform Podcast and
Yeah, this is
Dark
fucking
Hour
weird.
Podcast. Dark Hour Podcast actually just did a doll episode as well, and theirs is fucking awesome. They talked about a doll that I hadn't heard of. I can't remember what it was called. They talked about Robert, they talked about Annabelle, and then they talked about another one, and I don't remember.
I'll have to go back and
yeah,
re-listen.
but it was creepy. So. Yeah, not only did we do a doll episode, but then I listened to that because, you got Sports Friends, and I was like, like, I can't fucking get away from this bullshit. And then I also had to edit. Yeah, and then I come here, and fucking Elvira is still sitting where you left her. But, yeah, definitely go check them out. They're awesome people. And then also check out our buddies in Terraform Podcast. They just released an episode about how to unhaunt your house
saw
and
that.
stuff, which is
And
actually...
it was a beefy episode. Too.
Yeah, it was a beefy episode, and it was pretty. I never
Gonna start
thought
taking
about.
measures.
Well, the one thing for me was the sage thing.
I needed to do the opposite of that.
You need to invite them all in.
Yeah, the one thing for me was the sage thing. I didn't think about how, like, they talked about mass production. Like, it's not the same. Like, I didn't think about that. Like, I thought it was all the same, and it's like, no, you should be buying from like
an
actual
herbalist.
indigenous people because they're the ones that actually do it and stuff. And I just thought that was really interesting. It was never something that I thought of.
Yeah.
And then
Learn something. There you go.
yeah, so those are definitely some podcasts you can check out, in between our episodes, and we appreciate you guys listening. Please check us out everywhere, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. This is where those episodes will be. YouTube, if you want to check out, the videos, please, like, subscribe, comment. We do need fan stories. We have a link tree that you can go to get an email that you could send your own stories to, and we'll read them on here. Like we want stories to be able to talk about, So
And if you don't think it's long enough or good enough of a story, I'm learning now that I'm really enjoying writing these.
yeah,
My last 2,
and you're really good at it.
I
too.
might continue to do it with upcoming ones. So if you feel like it's not good enough or it's not long enough, we can work through emails to make it
it's kind of
better,
like
and we'll flesh
Scared
it
to
out.
Death does that too, right? They'll
Yeah,
kind of flesh it out and make it get the point across that you're trying to
Exactly,
get,
yeah.
and also make it interesting,
Yeah,
with it.
enjoyable and
enjoyable,
digestible. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
So-
please do that, And what story did you get? Motherfucking
Oh
Skinwalker.
no, dude!
Damn, we just went through. Do you want to draw again, or do you feel like
No. There's so many Skinwalker
that's
stories
true,
we can
that's
talk
true.
about.
There's no personal ones.
I mean that one, if you want to call that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the closest thing I could think to of being a Skinwalker.
All right, so next one is gonna be. Are we all gonna do it, or is someone gonna take it?
I don't know.
I think someone should take it.
I can do another one.
How about we do 2 different types of lore from it?
That's fine with me.
Because I know that there are people that think Skinwalkers are
y'all gonna do
aliens.
one? Are y'all gonna both do one?
I'll do one for sure.
Then we might as well. All three
Okay,
of
I
us
know
do
that some
one.
people think they're aliens. Some people think that they're like
Yeah,
entities.
there's a lot to learn about them.
Yeah,
too. I don't
so
know
like
enough.
if you guys, we can talk about it later and just see who wants to do what and like do research into that. Well, that's cool. All right, so we're gonna get
I
skinwalkers.
don't like that it was Skinwalker though. Like we just talked about it, and then now it's here.
You're like, I got away from my story. I got it out,
Why
and now
couldn't
you're
we
gonna
get,
have to
like-
like revisit that shit.
What could we get,
There's a
like-
puppies story in there, and we haven't got it yet.
Puppies?
There's not a puppy story.
I feel like there is a horror story of puppies
Oh,
somewhere.
probably, but I would like it more as a
Dude,
palate
you know, there's a
cleanser.
fucking there's a scary movie that's about fucking goats.
Fucking
Oh,
goats.
I thought.
No,
Oh my
not-
God.
Oh my god! Don't
I thought you were gonna say
canceled. Canceled.
I thought you were gonna say there's a
I don't know
story
if that's
about
cancel worthy.
animals in a cemetery. I was like, yeah,
Oh, like
just
Pet
straight up,
Cemetery?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, straight up. But all right, guys, thank you so much for listening to us. We are Dead Reflections Podcast, and you know it's crazy. We're on episode 8. We're almost at 10, dude.
Yeah.
We should do something on 10.
Gotta celebrate. Is that gonna land on a
Celebrate. No, it'll
on a
be
live stream?
No, that'll be the off stream.
Yes, yeah.
You know what? Maybe we'll just save it. We'll just won't do one. No, we can't do that.
Yeah, we can celebrate the 10th one live or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We could do
we'll just
two
do a
live
double
streams.
live. Yeah, we'll just do a double live. So 10th episode will be a live stream on Twitch.
We'll figure it out. Don't set it in stone yet.
Okay, well, we won't set it in stone yet.
Let's figure it out. Let's make sure we can do it. And
But
we'll
it's
get
a
something sorted.
possibility.
There we
but
go.
please, share our podcast with fellow horror lovers. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your monsters under your bed about Dead Reflections Podcast. Thank you guys, and have a spoopy night.